Hey, welcome everyone. This is James. I'm going to be doing a comparison between an intermediate trader and a professional trader. I am the intermediate trader. The professional trader is who I want to become in the future, and I'm basically going back over a trade I took today on Alibaba and seeing how I could have traded it more professionally, with less emotion, with more steadfastness, pulling out more profits from the market. I'm showing you the 5-minute chart of the SPY, the ETF for the S&P 500, and you can see in the first 15 minutes a minor kind of double bottom in through here at 266.20, and then you get a move up above the high of the day, and you get a close above the VWAP. So this is a very strong sign, and I was immediately kind of looking towards long plays. And Alibaba is a stock I love to look at almost every day. I'm very familiar with the levels that it trades around, and basically around 142 there was some support, and it was starting to push up above that. So I'm gonna go over a live recording of myself trading, and then later on at the end we'll look at the bigger picture and see the full chart of Alibaba and what actually happened. So I was looking to get in right over $143, $143.10 over that new high. And that was actually my first mistake. If you look here at about 20 minutes into the trading day, which is the same time that we just saw the market hold over the highs, you could have started tearing into your position here as the market started to hold, because Baba likes to trade with the market, and then you start getting that push up. So here you already have some of your position in here already, so that you're not getting in here, 1 point later when it's already pushing up close to the high, and you're thinking about entering right here, right after make that 2-point move. And for example, we'll look here at the market, and you can see, like I just said, it pushed up above this high right around 20 minutes in the day, which is when Baba made that doji candle, and I was looking to get in on this huge run up, 10 minutes later when the market was already extended to the upside. And initiating a long position after this many green candles, it's coming up to a little bit of support here at, resistance here at 268. It could be due for a pullback, right? If you're looking at this, it could be due to a pullback to the moving averages before it goes higher. That's what it ends up doing. That's the most highest probable thing that's going to happen. It's a lot less likely for this to continue surging all the way up, up to 270, 271. It's more likely to pull back. So I want to align this with the market and not get into the Baba trade at the same time that the market is ready to pull back. You can see that the Baba is kind of extended here. Me getting long here at 143, kind of realizing my mistake afterwards. I gave it a little bit of room, and then I stopped out for a small loss. So this is my first mistake as a more intermediate trader, is that I saw the opportunity to go long over the highs. I knew the market was going up, but I completely missed the context of, like, hey, it's actually kind of extended and needs to pull back. Okay, so I've zoomed a little bit forward, and you can see I'm basically looking at the Alibaba trade for another long, because now I realize the market has pulled back to the VWAP, Baba has pulled back to the VWAP, and it's starting to look like it might hold and continue into this pocket. And another reason why I was getting long here is because there's a big 146.40 level on Alibaba, and every single day it's been using that 146.40 level as support and resistance, and often when it falls below 146, it'll drop down to 142. When it holds 142, it goes back to 146. It just goes back and forth, back and forth. So I'm thinking, hey, look, it's holding 142. If it holds the VWAP and the market continues its trend higher, it's going to move up to 146. So I start getting ready. You can see I put this green line here as a possible entry over the high of this candle. Now we're zoomed up about 5 minutes or so, and you can see that it did push over 143. I got long at about 142.90, anticipating this break higher, and I'm actually getting ready to add even more to the position. So I'm actually about to double my position. You can kind of see here on the 1 minute chart as this pulls back in and holds 143 twice. If you follow the cursor here, I'm hovering over this this double kind of rejection here on 143. It pushed over, holding 143 again. I'm adding to the position, so my average is at $143.07 on my full size. So I'm kind of fully positioned to this trade now, and I'm anticipating a break over this high here as the market continues to trend higher. So what I am proud about myself about doing is that I waited for this hold to come in. The market was still uptrending. Let's look at this time here. It's about 7:30, and you can see here 7:30. Did I get the time wrong? Hold on. Yeah, 7:38 or so. So yeah, the market is holding that VWAP. It's still pushing up higher. It's kind of holding up here. Then you can see here it comes down again to the VWAP, and then starts to push up higher again at 8:10. So let's see what happens here on BABA. I didn't sell any of my position, and actually it's going to really test me, and this is where my patience really kicked in. I'm going to zoom in forward, and we're going to see just how this plays out. Okay, so I've paused here. It doesn't look good right now, and especially this candle, you can see it looks bad. This is where it's really testing me, and I'm trying to figure out, hey, look, it just broke down under this support of consolidation right here. But one thing that kept me in the trade is that the volume was decreasing right here. This was the big push up on that move higher, and since then the volume has been decreasing on this pullback. A little bit increasing volume, 3 candles back here, but it held on that candle as well. So it's kind of pulling back a little bit, but this is where that's that 810 area where we saw that market test the view up again and made that bounce higher. So now I'm just waiting to see what the market does. And then boom, we get that rejection. This is very important because this is where people start to sell their position. It starts to look bad. On the 1 minute, you get this close below the consolidation and starts to move even lower, and then everyone starts to sell, and some traders start to buy into the stock on this pullback. It did retest this pivot here. Another reason why I stayed in is because there is this pivot at 143.50. It put in earlier in the day, and it held. So now I'm facing the decision of should I take off early. I failed to mention earlier that I had a target of $145, right? Because I knew you could probably get to 146, but 145 was like a definite for me. I thought there was a high probability you could get to 145, and I was positioned properly to make some pretty good profit if it got there. Huge push up. I'm feeling great about this trade now. I'm looking at the daily there. 144.86. It was the high of that candle. And now I'm getting close to my target. Okay, so I'm getting ready to press the sell button for it to push up through 145. I'm going to take off some of my position, and then it starts to top out. And this is where I start getting really kind of emotionally, I don't want to say stressed, but I felt tight. Maybe I wasn't thinking properly. It was starting to reject 144.86. I'm going to fast forward a little bit, and then we'll see how many times it actually rejects this 144.86. It's going to reject it 3 times. On that third rejection is where I should have been like, okay, that's enough. Let's take off the profit. It's close enough to my target, but I really wanted that 2-point move from the 144 entry that I had, 143 entry that I had to 145. I wanted that 2-point move. And the problem with that is I was telling the market what I wanted it to do, as opposed to following what the market was telling me, which was that, hey, I'm rejecting 144.80s. The previous days, I may have moved up to 146, but today I just don't feel like doing that. That's what the market was telling me right here, is that 140 for 80s is going to be a top for me, at least for now. You should probably take off some of your position and wait for a re-entry. Let's zoom in a little bit. Zoom. I keep saying zoom. Let's fast forward a little bit. Okay, so this is going to be the third test. Look at the 1 minute chart here. We got that third test. I zoomed in here. 1, 2, 3, 144, 86. It rejected 3 times. Oh, that might be a 4th time actually, where it tried to get above, failed, and that's where, when it really failed to push over these 3, that's when things really got bad. So now I'm in a bad position here. I'm thinking, now look, a professional trader would have taken off his position. This is a really nice trade from 143, right? And I could have been looking to re-enter. I drew this uptrend line here. You could have started re-entering here at $144, $143.80, and maybe try to get another push up higher. And then if that fails, you can stop out, break even, or for a small loss. At least you tried, and you got back in at better prices. So let's see what happens. Okay, here we are on the full 5 minute one chart here. So we can see that triple rejection where I could have exited, and then here's my stop at around here. And as I said, it trades down to the VWAP, holds it, starts to push higher. That's where you re-enter long, and then you realize that profit again when it goes all the way up to the 140 for 80s. Okay, back up to this top. That's your opportunity to take off profit. So overall, let's go into more detail on some of the things I could have done better in this trade. Okay, so here we are at the way I should have traded this stock as a more professional trader. As the market starts to hold, you get in your first entry here, down at 141, 142. You start to tear into your position, starts to move up, pulls back to the VWAP, and then you add to your position. And then you add again when it holds on lower, it pushes up on high volume, low volume pullback. You got this huge rejection of the lows here. You add as it starts to push up. This is a momentum add that you're going to take off. You plan to take off on this push up. Starts to reject 86. You remove the position. Remove the position. It's obviously showing weakness here at 144.86. Next, this is going to pull back to the VWAP here. It holds this for 15, 20, 30 minutes. That's where you can start looking to get a second entry, and then get that secondary move back up to the resistance pivot that it put in earlier, and then you lock in this move right here, and you lock in this move. Finally, we're going to look at how I traded the stock, and we're going to compare it to how I should have traded it. As we can see here, the red lines is where I added, exited, entered the trade. The blue lines is where a professional trader would enter and exit the trades. I got in on my first entry on this push up here over 143. It was really extended, and then I exited my position actually a little bit up here as it started to pull back, and I realized my mistake. Once it holds, I make my second entry right here, and I'm thinking it held here and has potential to push up. I add right here, not too bad, but again, I had to add here because I already removed my full position on this pullback. I wouldn't have had to add here if I already had some money in the trade and I didn't remove my position. So now I'm in my second trade here on Baba. Comes up here to the 144.80s, rejects. I don't do anything about it. Wait till this consolidation happens, and then I take my my much smaller profit as this pushes down below this consolidation, and that's my exit. Now look, I still made money on the trade, but look at the big difference between how I traded it and how a professional trades a stock like this. This is the move you get, right? If you're trading this professionally, and if you're trading this like me, You get this first red trade, right? Small red move down here. And then you get this, okay? So I had a profit from here to here and a small loss from here to here. So I'm green, but look at what the money I would have made if I traded this properly. So this is the difference between a highly successful trader and an intermediate one that's trying to figure things out, kind of knows what to do in the market, but it trips up a little bit. And those minor little mistakes is a huge difference between big profits and these smaller grinding trades, grinding that account up bit by bit. So thanks for listening. Hope this is helpful, showing that there's always room for growth, always room to learn. There is definitely a lot of potential in the market. If you've been trading for a year or two, kind of like I have, this is always a good thing to do, and this is why I'm doing it for myself, so that I can become that professional trainer I want to be and make these big profits that are, showing up every single day. Thanks for listening. Hope to see you next time.